The stars went dark over Geneva when the Valderi ships entered orbit. Dr. Elena Martinez stood at her quantum observatory's window, watching the massive vessels blot out constellations she'd known since childhood. But unlike the panicked civilians rushing through the streets below, a slight smile played across her face. "They're right on schedule," she murmured, tapping her neural interface. The quantum-encrypted channel connected instantly to Strategic Command. "General Chen, the Valderi fleet matches our projections exactly. 237 ships, primarily Nexus-class destroyers." "Confirmed, Doctor." General Chen's holographic form materialized beside her, his weathered face illuminated by the observatory's displays. "I suppose we should thank our ancestors for their paranoia." Elena nodded, thinking back to that fateful day in 1961, when a young radio astronomer had detected the first Valderi transmission. Instead of announcing first contact, world leaders had made an unprecedented decision. Earth would listen, learn, and prepare in absolute secrecy. "Launch the quantum probes," Chen ordered. Throughout the solar system, thousands of microscopic sensors activated, their existence hidden for decades by elaborate gravitational camouflage. The Valderi fleet's every movement, every communication, every energy signature was instantly mapped and analyzed. The alien ships arranged themselves in attack formation, their weapon systems charging. Right on cue, the first transmission arrived. "People of Earth, we are the Valderi Imperium. Your primitive civilization has been chosen for integration. Surrender now and become part of our glorious empire." Elena exchanged knowing looks with Chen. The Valderi had no idea they were broadcasting on frequencies Earth had decrypted 50 years ago. More importantly, they had no idea that humans had been systematically studying and improving upon Valderi technology since before their grandparents were born. "Should we show them our response, sir?" Elena asked, her fingers hovering over the quantum interface. Chen nodded grimly. "Activate the Helios grid." Throughout Earth's atmosphere, invisible quantum particles that had been seeded through decades of weather balloon launches suddenly aligned. A shimmering energy field enveloped the planet, technology far beyond anything the Valderi had achieved. "Fascinating," Elena observed as the alien ships opened fire. Their plasma torpedoes, capable of reducing cities to ash, dissipated harmlessly against the quantum shield. "They're still using particle-based weapons. They never did solve the quantum entanglement problem, did they?" The Valderi ships launched a second barrage, then a third, their attacks growing increasingly desperate as Earth's defenses held firm. Elena could almost imagine their confusion. According to their intelligence, Earth was a pre-spaceflight civilization barely capable of reaching its own moon. "Signal from the Valderi flagship," her assisted AI announced. "They're demanding to know how we acquired this technology." "Should we tell them?" Elena asked Chen, a hint of mischief in her voice. "I think it's time for Phase 2, Chen replied. "Let's show them what else we've learned while they weren't looking." Elena's fingers danced across the quantum interface. Throughout the solar system, hidden shipyards emerged from dimensional pockets where they'd been concealed. The Valderi watched in horror as humanity's true fleet revealed itself, ships that represented not just copied Valderi technology, but 6 decades of human innovation building upon it. "You know what I find interesting," Elena said as she watched the Valderi fleet scramble to regroup. "They never considered that we might detect them first, that we might spend generations preparing. That humans, when faced with a superior force, don't simply wait to be conquered. A common mistake," Chen agreed. "They assume technological superiority equals absolute superiority. They never account for human ingenuity, determination, or our capacity for long-term planning." The quantum sensors showed the Valderi fleet attempting to retreat, finally realizing the magnitude of their miscalculation. But they were about to discover another human trait. "We don't start fights, but we certainly finish them. All ships, execute Operation Lighthouse," Chen commanded. Elena watched as Earth's quantum-powered vessels moved into position, Their crews linked directly to their ships through neural interfaces the Valdari had never imagined possible. The battle that followed would be studied for generations, not for its length, but for how quickly humanity's carefully laid plans dismantled an alien armada. As the first Valdari ships began to fall, Alina thought about all the scientists across generations who had worked in secret, knowing they would never receive public recognition for their breakthroughs. They had done it not for glory, but to ensure humanity's survival. Now, watching Earth's defenders execute decades of preparation with precise efficiency, she knew their sacrifice had been worth it. The Valdari were about to learn why you don't threaten a species that had spent 60 years preparing for exactly this moment. Sometimes, she reflected, the most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the biggest ships or the most advanced weapons. It's the one who has been quietly watching, learning, and preparing while you thought them helpless. The Valdari Admiral's hologram flickered in the United Earth Defense Council chamber, its crystalline form radiating barely contained fury. Behind the projection, through the chamber's transparent quantum dome, the remaining alien ships hung in low orbit like wounded predators. Impossible, the Admiral's translated voice boomed. No pre-FTL civilization could have developed quantum shielding. You've been helped by our enemies, the Centauri Confederation. Captain Sarah John cut the transmission with a thought, her neural interface responding instantly to her command. The other council members around the table, representing Earth's combined military and scientific leadership, shared knowing looks. They still don't understand, Zhang said, rising from her chair. The holographic battle display showed the Valdari fleet's desperate attempts to breach Earth's defenses. They think someone must have given us their technology. The idea that we developed it ourselves, that we improved upon their designs, it's beyond their comprehension. Dr. Marcus Chen, head of the Neural Integration Division, pulled up another display showing the status of Earth's defense grid. Should we show them why their weapons can't touch us? It might save time. General Rivera, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic lights, nodded. Proceed with the demonstration, Doctor. Let's educate our visitors. Chen initiated the neural broadcast. Every human ship in Earth's defense fleet lit up with a distinctive quantum signature, one that the Valdari sensors could detect but couldn't possibly understand. Not yet. Attention Valdari fleet, Zhang transmitted, allowing her neural link to translate in real time. You're wondering how our ships move with such precision, how we anticipate your attacks before you launch them. Let us illuminate you. The display showed the Valdari ships suddenly detecting something extraordinary. Each human vessel was operated not by traditional crews, but by pilots whose consciousness had been temporarily transferred into the ships themselves. Human minds merged with quantum computers, achieving reaction times and tactical awareness that no physical interface could match. Neural quantum integration, Chen explained to the council as they watched the Valdari's confusion. While they were perfecting bigger guns, we learned to merge human consciousness with machine efficiency. Our pilots don't just fly their ships, they become their ships. The Valdari renewed their attack, this time targeting what they thought were computer control centers. But there were no computer centers to target. Each ship was a direct extension of its pilot's consciousness, protected by quantum fields that the human mind itself helped generate. Fascinating, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, their quantum physics expert, observed. They're still trying to apply conventional warfare doctrine. They haven't grasped that they're not fighting against our technology. They're fighting against the human mind itself, augmented and unleashed. The demonstration continued as Earth's neural-linked ships executed maneuvers that should have been impossible, moving with the fluid grace of thought rather than the constraints of physical controls. Valdari targeting systems, designed to predict conventional ship movements, proved useless against vessels that responded with the speed of human intuition. What they never understood, Zhang said, watching the Valdari fleet's increasingly erratic responses, is that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology. It's our adaptability, our creativity. When we discovered their existence, we didn't just copy their advances, we reimagined what was possible. Through the quantum dome, they watched as several Valduri ships attempted to jump to FTL, only to find themselves trapped by quantum fields that their sensors hadn't even detected. The fields weren't just barriers, they were extensions of human consciousness, adapting and responding to every attempted escape. Should we proceed to Phase 3? Rivera asked, though she already knew the answer. The Council had gamed out this scenario countless times over the decades. Not yet, John replied, her neural interface showing her something the others hadn't yet noticed. The Valduri are attempting to access their long-range communication arrays. They're trying to call for reinforcements. She smiled. Let them. You want the rest of their empire to witness this? Chen asked, raising an eyebrow. Precisely, John confirmed. Let them broadcast our capabilities across their networks. Let every potential invader see what happens when you underestimate humanity. Because what they're seeing now. She gestured to the display where Earth's neural-linked ships were systematically dismantling the Valduri fleet's defenses. This isn't even our most advanced technology. We're just getting started. The council chamber fell silent as they watched the battle unfold. Decades of secret preparation, generations of hidden technological development, all leading to this moment. The Valduri had come expecting to find a primitive civilization ready for conquest. Instead, they had awakened a giant that had been quietly studying them, learning from them, and surpassing them. And as the Valduri admiral watched his fleet's weapons bounce harmlessly off ships piloted by human thought itself, he began to understand a fundamental truth. Sometimes the most advanced civilization isn't the one with the longest history or the largest empire. It's the one that never stops innovating, never stops adapting, and never, ever reveals all its cards at once. The quantum display in Earth's strategic command showed the Valduri reinforcement fleet emerging from hyperspace, over 500 ships strong. Dr. Elena Martinez watched their energy signatures bloom across the solar system, her neural interface processing the tactical data in real time. Right where we predicted, she transmitted to Admiral Zhang, who was currently merged with the consciousness core of Earth's flagship, Prometheus. They'd brought their planet killers. The Valduri's second wave was led by massive dreadnoughts, each carrying enough firepower to shatter a small moon. Their arrival should have been terrifying. Instead, Alina felt a surge of anticipation. Everything was proceeding according to humanity's carefully orchestrated plan. Initiate Operation Checkmate. Zhang's thoughts echoed through the quantum network linking Earth's defenders. The neural-linked human fleet, which had appeared to retreat from the first wave of Valduri ships, suddenly shifted formation. But this wasn't just a tactical redeployment. It was the revelation of humanity's true masterstroke. The space between Earth's ships began to ripple as thousands of quantum singularities activated simultaneously. The Valduri sensors registered something impossible. The human vessels were creating their own localized regions of space-time, controlled bubbles of reality that operated according to different physical laws. You're probably wondering how we achieved this. Alina broadcast to the Valduri fleet, knowing their leaders would be struggling to comprehend what they were seeing. While you were perfecting ways to destroy worlds, we were learning to reshape reality itself. The human counteroffensive began not with weapons, but with physics. Neural-linked ships slipped through quantum folds in space, appearing inside the Valduri formation before their sensors could register the movement. Each human vessel was surrounded by its own bubble of altered spacetime, making conventional weapons useless against them. They're trying to adapt their targeting systems, reported Dr. Padel from his station in Luna Base. But they can't lock onto ships that exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Elena watched as the Valduri fleet's precise formation dissolved into chaos. Their mighty dreadnoughts, designed to shatter planets, found themselves firing at empty space as human ships shifted between quantum states faster than light itself could travel. The neural interfaces allowed human pilots to navigate these impossible spaces instinctively, their consciousness expanding to encompass multiple realities at once. Quantum lock confirmed on their command ships, Zhang announced through the neural net. Executing Phase 2 of the counter-offensive. The space around the Valdari dreadnoughts suddenly crystallized as human ships projected overlapping fields of quantum-locked spacetime. The alien vessels found themselves trapped in bubbles where their own physics worked against them, regions where their faster-than-light drives created feedback loops, where their energy weapons fed back into their own shields. A species that relies solely on brute force, Alin observed, watching the Valdari ships struggle against the quantum locks, never considers that the laws of physics themselves might be turned against them. Through the neural network, she felt the collective focus of Earth's pilots as they executed maneuvers that would have been impossible for any conventional fleet. Ships moved in perfect synchronization, their quantum fields weaving together into complex patterns that turned space itself into a weapon. The Valdari's response was predictable. They attempted to concentrate their fire on what they perceived as the weakest points in Earth's formation. But there were no weak points in a fleet that could alter the fundamental properties of spacetime at will. "They're attempting to transmit a surrender signal," Paddle reported, a note of satisfaction in his voice. "Not yet." Zhang's thoughts resonated through the network. "First, let's show them what happens when you threaten a species that has spent generations preparing for this exact moment." The quantum display showed Earth's ships moving into their final attack pattern. The Valdari were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology, or even their ability to alter reality. It was their patience, their willingness to spend decades developing defenses against a threat that hadn't yet arrived. As the counteroffensive reached its crescendo, Elena reflected on the irony of the situation. The Valdari had come to conquer what they thought was a primitive civilization, only to find themselves facing an enemy that had surpassed them in ways they couldn't even comprehend. They had expected to find prey, but instead discovered that humans had turned their entire understanding of physics into an elaborate trap. And as the quantum locks tightened around the Valdari fleet, a simple message was broadcast across all frequencies. "Perhaps next time, before attempting to conquer a species, you should consider that silence doesn't always indicate weakness. Sometimes, it merely means we're busy preparing." Admiral Sarah Zhang, her consciousness still merged with the Prometheus, felt rather than saw the Valdari Supreme Commander's desperation. The alien fleet's attempts to break free of Earth's quantum locks were becoming increasingly erratic, their once proud formation now a scattered mess of trapped vessels. "Your weaponry is impressive," Zhang transmitted directly to the Valdari flagship, her thoughts translated instantly by the neural interface. "But you never asked yourselves an essential question. Why did we let you detect our planet in the first place?" Through the quantum network, she sensed Dr. Martinez and the strategic command staff monitoring the unfolding situation. Everything was positioned perfectly for humanity's final revelation, the true extent of their technological advancement. "Impossible," the Valdari commander's response crackled through the quantum fields. "Our long-range scouts detected your radio transmissions naturally. We've been observing your civilization for decades." "No," Zhang corrected, allowing a hint of amusement to color her transmission. "We let you detect exactly what we wanted you to see. Those radio transmissions, carefully crafted decoys, broadcast specifically to attract your attention." The quantum display showed the Valdari command staff's life signs spiking as the implications sank in. Their entire intelligence operation, the years of surveillance, the careful planning of their invasion, had been manipulated from the start. "Initiate the Cronus protocol," Zhang commanded through the neural net. Throughout the solar system, massive quantum arrays that had laid dormant for generations suddenly activated. These weren't weapons. They were time dilation fields, technology the Valdari had never even theorized possible. "You see," Zhang continued, addressing the increasingly panicked Valdari fleet, "while you thought you were watching us, we were studying you. Those primitive radio signals you detected, they were bait, designed to draw your attention, while we built something far more significant." The time dilation fields expanded, creating bubbles of altered temporal flow around key segments of the Valdari fleet. Ships that tried to fire their weapons found their energy beams moving in slow motion, caught in regions where time itself flowed differently. Remarkable, Dr. Chen observed through the neural link. They still haven't realized that their entire invasion was part of our defense strategy. Zhang redirected more power to the quantum arrays, watching as the Valdari's tactical networks collapsed under the strain of operating across multiple time streams. Their mighty dreadnoughts, designed to operate in normal space-time, found themselves trapped in pockets where seconds stretched into hours. Perhaps we should show them the final piece, Martine suggested, her thoughts tinged with professional satisfaction. Let them understand exactly what they're dealing with. Zhang agreed, initiating the last phase of their plan. The quantum fields around Earth rippled as humanity's ultimate achievement revealed itself, not a weapon, but a fundamental manipulation of reality itself. Your empire spans 1,000 star systems, Zhang transmitted to the Valdari command. But did you ever master quantum entanglement on a stellar scale? The space around the solar system began to shift as vast networks of entangled particles, seeded throughout nearby star systems over decades, activated simultaneously. The Valdari watched in horror as their quantum scans revealed the truth. Earth hadn't just prepared its own solar system for defense. They had subtly altered the fabric of space-time throughout this entire sector of the galaxy. Your reinforcements won't be arriving, Zhang informed them calmly. The quantum entanglement network we've built makes conventional FTL travel impossible within 50 light-years of Earth. You're not just trapped in our solar system, you're trapped in a region of space that operates according to our rules. The Valdari Supreme Commander's next transmission carried something humans hadn't heard in their communications before. Fear. How long have you been capable of this? Long enough to turn your invasion into a demonstration, Zhang replied. Long enough to show every spacefaring race in this galaxy why Earth should be approached with diplomacy, not aggression. Through the neural network, Zhang felt the satisfaction of Earth's defenders as their generations of preparation reached their culmination. The Valdari had expected to find a primitive civilization. Instead, they had stumbled into a carefully laid trap, sprung by a species that had spent decades preparing not just to survive first contact, but to reshape the very nature of space-time itself. As the Valdari fleet hung helpless in Earth's quantum grip, Zhang prepared to deliver humanity's terms. But first, she allowed them a moment to absorb a fundamental truth. Sometimes, the most advanced civilization isn't the one that shows its power first. It's the one patient enough to wait for the perfect moment to reveal its true capabilities. The grand chamber of the Valdari flagship had been designed to intimidate, its crystalline walls towering over visitors, its quantum displays showing the might of their empire. Now those same displays showed their fleet trapped in Earth's quantum grid, their mighty warships rendered powerless by technology they'd barely understood. Admiral Sarah Zhang's consciousness projection stood before the Valdari High Command, her human form translucent but radiating an authority that made even the crystalline aliens shift uncomfortably. Dr. Elena Martinez and General Chen flanked her, their neural interfaces allowing them to maintain simultaneous presence both here and in their command centers on Earth. Your empire, Zhang began, her voice carrying through the neural translation matrix, spans 1,000 worlds. You've conquered hundreds of species, and yet you've never considered one simple possibility, that a younger civilization might surpass you not through brute force, but through patience and innovation. The Valdari Supreme Commander, its crystalline form dulled with defeat, spoke carefully. How did a pre-FTL civilization achieve this level of advancement without detection? Martinez stepped forward, a holographic display materializing between them. Let us show you. The display expanded, revealing decades of human technological development. In 1961, we detected your first probes. But instead of announcing our discovery, we chose to watch and learn. The images showed Earth's secret progress, quantum physics breakthroughs, consciousness transfer technology, space-time manipulation. But more importantly, they showed how humanity had systematically studied and improved upon every piece of Valdari technology they could detect. While you observed our primitive radio signals, Chen added, we were reverse engineering your quantum communications. While you monitored our early space flights, we were developing technology that would make traditional space travel obsolete. The Valdari High Command watched in stunned silence as the display revealed the true extent of human advancement. Earth hadn't just copied their technology. They had reimagined it, approached it from angles the Valdari had never considered. But why? The Supreme Commander asked. Why maintain the deception for so long? Zhang's projection smiled. Because we understood something you didn't. The greatest advantage in any conflict isn't technology or numbers. It's information. Specifically, controlling what your potential adversaries think they know about you. The display shifted to show Earth's quantum entanglement network, spreading through nearby star systems like an invisible web. We didn't just prepare to defend Earth, Zhang explained. We've reshaped this entire sector of space. Your faster-than-light drives won't work here. Your weapons are useless. This is now, effectively, human space. And what are your terms? The Supreme Commander's voice carried both fear and resignation. Peace, Zhang stated simply. But on our terms. Earth will not join your empire. Instead, we propose an alliance of equals. Your empire has expansion and military might. We have innovation and technological advancement. Together, we could achieve things neither of us could manage alone. Martinez stepped forward again. We've already identified 17 potential breakthroughs in Valdari technology that your scientists missed. Blind spots created by centuries of thinking along the same established lines. We're prepared to share these innovations as a gesture of good faith. The Valdari leaders conferred briefly through their own neural networks before the Supreme Commander spoke again. And if we refuse, then we send your fleet home, Chen replied, carrying proof that a primitive human civilization defeated the mighty Valdari Imperium. How long do you think your empire would maintain control of its territories once that news spreads? Zhang raised her hand, and the quantum fields around the Valdari fleet shifted, demonstrating Earth's complete control over their ships. But we prefer cooperation to conflict. Humanity's goal was never conquest. It was survival, followed by peaceful coexistence. We simply ensured we would be negotiating from a position of strength. The chamber fell silent as the Valdari High Command processed their options. Finally, the Supreme Commander's crystalline form shifted into the pattern that humans had learned indicated formal agreement. Perhaps, the commander admitted, it is time for the Valdari Imperium to learn new ways of thinking. As the formal surrender and alliance protocols were enacted, Zhang allowed herself a moment of reflection. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented, defeating a vastly more experienced spacefaring civilization, not through superior firepower, but through patience, innovation, and the careful control of information. The quantum displays showed Earth's defense fleet standing down, their neural-linked pilots beginning to disengage from their ships. But the truly hard work was just beginning. Humanity was about to step onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors or conquered, but as innovators who had turned the laws of physics themselves into their greatest ally. And as the Valdari leaders signed the alliance treaties, a simple message was broadcast across their empire's quantum networks. Let it be known that Earth stands ready to share knowledge with those who come in peace, and to demonstrate the full extent of human innovation to those who don't.